Normaal's a performative design research, looking at a simple social gesture. Basically, it's taken a handshake and designed a overcomplicated set of rules and instruments that I kind of ask the audience to interact with. The idea is that the table is almost too difficult to understand, so it starts to create this uneasiness or this uncomfortableness in the audience. And the idea is to make the audience uncomfortable because they don't quite know how to interact with it. And let's be honest, I mean, the measurements are kind of made up, and the idea is that it's supposed to once again create this overcomplicated idea of the perfect handshake. So if you look at the table, there are these lines that are running all over the table. There's showing you exactly where the point of interaction needs to be. It shows you where your elbow needs to be, what height you need to be measuring at. But it's really just there to kind of confuse the audience a little bit. Once again, creating this set of rules for people that are undecidable or uninterpretable. But I think also what's important to note is that the table's also been designed on the average Dutch male. So the table also physically asks the audience to adjust, so their height and their reach and stuff like that. Normal for me is conforming, and it forms. Normal is control for me. Normal is about how our societies kind of force us to behave in a normal way. You know, normal behavior for me is a way of control. You know, because abnormal behavior is seen as something that is undesirable, and therefore, it starts to form a form of control in a way. I wouldn't say I'm designing a gesture. I would say I'm rather using a gesture to kind of talk about a larger topic. Gestures are designed socially, and they kind of have this organic kind of development. So I guess my work's not really looking to redesign a gesture, but rather to use the gesture to talk about a larger topic. And I think also maybe the idea is influencing interactions around that gesture. The handshake's like the most normal gesture we have in Western culture, in European culture, you know. And when you start questioning that, it becomes quite interesting because you start to question everything in a way, all our social norms. I guess also that starting point was Mark Rutte's comments about behaving normally or leave, making reference to migrants in the Netherlands. And in a later interview, he spoke about this idea that the handshake is what we do in the Netherlands. And for me, it's this strange, absurd attachment we have to this gesture. Why can't we just let it go? You know, it's also developed these nationalistic connotations, which is for me just ridiculous. But that, I guess, is why it's interesting to kind of play with that as a gesture.